Welcome, everybody. This is episode 28 of the Next Generation of Superstars podcast. Very grateful and fortunate to have Jalen Scott here, who's originally from Surprise, Arizona, and now is playing guard at South Plains College. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, my man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. And so kind of tell all of us a little bit more about how you really found, your passion and love, for the game of basketball.
I mean, that started a long time ago, man. Like at my first house I lived in, we had a little, like two courts. We had a full court, like kind of hoop, and we had two of them. And I mean, me and my brother used to just play all the time. And then my parents got me into city ball. And then after some years, I got into club ball. And then I just kept going with it, and I got somewhere, kind of.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. And so what about, has there been any specific mentors or coaches, that's kind of helped you along the way as you've kind of, been playing since you were a little kid and now, you play at the collegiate level? Has there been anyone that's been a huge role model for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I have a lot of coaches that just mean so much to me, man. Like Coach Brian, he was my first club coach. I was with him for about 4 or 5 years until I left to another team. But that's my guy. Like that's like family, And that's what's crazy about basketball. Like relationships just happen so quick. Like with coaches, I mean, my high school coach, Coach Heddle, like all 4 years, like he really got me, my IQ, my mindset, like kind of all of it. And then I go play with Nico Medved, Coach Sowers, like just some good coaches who just know the game, It's just, it's crazy to learn from them for real.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's not something that happens all the time,
Right. No, 100%. And being grateful for that experience to be able to first off play for those coaches, but also be able to learn so much knowledge and apply that, and grow your basketball IQ and grow just your knowledge of the game itself. What's been a few things that's helped your focus, being a student athlete, of course you have to worry about your physical health, but also your mental health. What's been some things, that you've seen as your growth throughout your career that's helped you both work on your mental and physical health?
Yeah, I mean, mental health is big. Like you just never want to get in your head, because like that affects the game for real. I mean, I think something that really helps is family and teammates, like having a good healthy bond, that it just helps, when everything's healthy off the court and you can just go on the court and just play, just play your best and just leave it out there, have no regrets. I mean, that's when you're really the best,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I was kind of going to my next question of stuff. You said, how family's been such a huge part, in your life and in helping and supporting you. How has that support been from not only your family, but your friends and even your fans?
Yeah, I mean, I've had like a few best friends like my whole life. I just have a little tight circle, and, we talk about everything and, just about life. And I feel like that just gives me more confidence, like they tell me what I need to work on, or they tell me what I'm doing good, and then, I don't really have fans, I wouldn't say, but, I have like family who really support me and like just tell me, just how to be better, and I mean, that just all helps me on the court.
100%. I love it. What's been some ways that you've also, everyone has failures and setbacks, but how do you kind of persevere through that? I know you have great support from, a tight circle of friends and family. Yeah. What else do you do, that helps yourself get through those failures and setbacks?
I mean, I've been getting I'd say kind of religious all of a sudden. I've been reading the Bible more. I mean, I've been praying more. I feel like God's a big part of my life now, and that's one big reason for, who I am and what helps me with my confidence. I mean, I'd say music too. Music really calms the mind. Like when you really just sit and just listen to some music, like you're just it feels like you're in a different world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. But what's one of your favorite genres that you listen to that kind of, whether it's before the game or even just when you're in your free time, that kind of gets you in that nice zone of calmness?
Yeah, I listen to more rap more than anything. I mean, my dad kind of taught me some R&B songs and some slower songs that are good, but me, I listen to, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, all that. So
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, I mean, when you can get in your zone and stay focused, it allows you to have more clarity on everything, right?
Mhm. Sure.
And so, kind of going into more of your game and stuff. Has there been any memorable? And I know there has been, but what's been some of the most memorable career moments that you kind of look back on and are grateful for that experience to have been able to accomplish that?
Yeah, I mean, if I look back, I mean, number one's got to be going to March Madness. Like I went with Colorado State, and I redshirted. Obviously, I didn't play, but just being there, it's so crazy. It's like it's really a dream come true when you think about it. I
Right.
mean, I can only imagine if we would have won the game. I
Crazy.
mean, we played Michigan though. Hunter Dickinson,
Yeah.
Frankie Collins was there. It was looking good in the first half, but that second half,
So that game, I remember that game. Was a couple years ago?
yeah, it was a couple years ago. Literally the first game of March Madness.
Wow. No, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Talk about like that environment? Like, what was that environment just from start to finish? Like when you walk out on the court, when you're warming up, you
Mhm.
see so many fans from both CSU, Michigan. Like, what was
Literally.
that environment like?
No, it's really something else. It feels like something you watch on TV, like
Yeah,
you only see it on TV and you're like, oh, I know that place is jumping right now. It's rowdy in there, right?
crazy.
And then you're on the bench, you're in the timeouts and everyone's just screaming. Like it's crazy because I remember we was up a lot, right? And they go on a run, like they hit a three, crowds jumping, they get a block, and then they go down, hit another three. I look over, I see Jalen Rose, right? He's
Right.
standing up, everybody on their feet. Oh Lord. It was
That's
really,
crazy.
really loud. Like I'm talking, everybody was screaming.
Oh shit, man, that's nuts. That's crazy. And then so it's like just being there and like you just really cherish that moment, right? Because it's like whether obviously you want to go out there and win and be competitive, but
Yeah,
you look back on that and you're like, there's not many people that make it to that tournament and be able to play,
bro.
in March
Hmm.
Madness. As we're going up, watching it right now live, it's like you see just everything that's poured out on the court, but just everyone else, the fans and people that are watching, and like
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else like it in college sports.
No, like it's such a big event. Like you don't even think about it, but it's so many people watching that one game, like it's just so much relies on that one game. It's it's a different feeling. It's a different type of environment for real.
How do you think, before going into that game, what was something that you and your teammates did to kind of help you prepare? Because you work all season
Mhm.
long, you get ready for, March is the biggest month of the year, getting into that tournament now. How did you guys really like work to come together, right? Camaraderie is a huge thing with teammates, and how did you guys really
Yeah.
come together to support?
Um, I mean, because we knew like Michigan's a good team. That's a really good team.
Right,
So we just had to sit there and we were just, we're in the locker room and we're talking before like the coach comes in and, gives us the little talk before we go out and warm up. And we're sitting there and, we have Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy, like top two players in college basketball, literally. And we're just thinking like, we can really win this game if, we buy in,
right,
like listen to what coach said, like just leave it out there, play your hardest, no matter what,
yeah,
and
crazy. It's a crazy environment. It's awesome.
it's so crazy thinking about it because like we really were up like 10, 11, 12 points and then it just like that, it was just gone.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. It really shows you, basketball is a game of runs, and when you can see that and have
Hmm.
all that momentum in 1 second, it could turn around and you lose that, and
Yeah,
just think about like, what just happened because it's such a game of runs.
yeah, literally you get a stop and score, then get a stop and score. It's just that's basketball. That's the definition of basketball,
Yep,
just score more than the other team.
100%. Yeah,
Mm.
we'll kind of switching gears, Jalen. I know there's got to be a lot of good times too that you've enjoyed as well, just playing college basketball. Have there been any funny stories that you think about, when you've shared with your teammates or anyone else, on the court?
Nah, this is a funny one about Nico right here. So we're the Virgin Islands, and we're in the championship game, in the tournament, right? Wherever, whatever that's called, I forget.
Right.
And we're down like 20 at halftime, and we end up coming back and winning. And so everyone's hyped. We're in the little locker room, and Nico comes in, and me and Trace Young, we had to dump the Gatorade on him, right? And it was kind of heavy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even pick it up before, and it was really heavy. So I pick it up, and like we tried to dump it on him, and my hand just, I don't know, I guess it slipped or something. And it fell just straight on Nico's head. Like just straight on his head. Like the water barely touched him. It was all on the floor. It hit his head. It was funny. I mean, everybody was just dying laughing. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
moments like that you just gotta take in, it's just you think back to that, it's like you just cherish that type of stuff.
Yeah, literally. And then, fast forward a few months, we get to the banquet, and then he talked about it in front of all the donors and the team again. It's like hundreds of people in there, and he bring up the story. I'm like, and I got to explain to the people what happened that I'm sitting with and all that. It's funny.
That's awesome.
That's funny. I mean, a lot of stuff happened at South Plains too. A lot of like JUCO stuff happened, just some stuff that's unexplainable. Like right. we're in the gym and we're practicing, and then like the heat comes on and the lights turn off. Like it's stuff like that.
Great.
It's a lot of funny stuff that goes on, man. Like on the court and off the court, you know what I'm saying?
I love it, man. What do you think's been, the best part about just being a student athlete? Because there's so much you have to balance. You have, crazy schedules all the time, but like just when you think about it, like what's just been like the best part of it, and like, kind of like overall?
I mean, obviously it's like, to pursue your dreams and your goals, that's the main part, obviously. But I mean,
right.
I feel like it's really about like the relationships you build. It's 100%. Like I was in class, right? In a class I don't want to be in, and then two dudes sit next to me, right? And there's some funny dudes, like there's some cool people. And next thing you know, like I get their number, like their Snapchat, and then we're joking around, like we're hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's just something you don't see coming. Right. And then, someone on the team could be like your new best friend.
100%.
So, and then the connections you get from it too. Like it just feels different to see other people trying to reach the same goal as you know what I'm saying? And like how they go about it, and their determination. It's really interesting when you like dive deep into why other people are playing basketball, and what they want to do with their future, what's going on in their life too.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's so huge, because it's like everyone's coming from a different background or whatever it might be, but they also, it's like your network you grow within the game of basketball or even outside of sport. It's just like, it opens up so many doors to things you wouldn't have otherwise thought of, and that can help even after your playing time's done. And then when you really have control of your own brand, and that was kind of going into my next thing of talking about just such a big thing that's happened as you've been a student athlete, is seeing this whole NIL unfold. What was your initial reaction, in the summer of 2021? You saw everything get legitimized. What did you think when you saw NIL as an opportunity for you to really take control of your whole brand and go and get brand deals and really just, build something that you control and own?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought, I was like, that's game changing. Like that's gonna break a lot of like just the internet in general, like, because once it happened, you start thinking like, imagine Johnny Manziel and Cam Newton, right? If they had those deals, back in the day,
right?
Like that's crazy. But you see, what's his name? The dude who got like the Porsche deal or the Lamborghini deal.
Oh, I saw the Porsche one.
I think it was.
I know Deion Sanders' son got the Mercedes deal.
Did he?
There was something with Porsche too. I did see. I don't know who it was.
I think it was I don't know, the running back from Texas, Bijan Robinson. He got he got like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini deal.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. That doesn't happen until you're like.
There's some professional athletes that don't even get that type of deal now. Think about a college athlete getting that. It's it's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like if you have one good year in college, like that could really change your life. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, because when you make it to the pros, it's like, you're obviously making money. Like the team has social media and managers. They're gonna get you right automatically. But now that you can do that, after algebra class, you know what I'm saying? And like before you go to practice, you could get a Popeyes deal or a McDonald's deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's game changing. Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
100%, 100%. I think, something that we've been doing at Burst is that, like, we want to level the playing field, right? We want to be able to help all
Yeah.
student athletes, whether that you have 500 followers or 500,000. We want to showcase within, Web3 and this whole sports tech that's evolving, it's possible, right? And so
Yeah.
that's been so big for us taking that path that, not everyone's really going for, because we want to be able to help all student athletes across the world. And so then you kind of seeing, stuff with Burst and what we've been doing, but also, just your thoughts on the Web3 sports space and kind of just sports tech in general. Where do you see that direction of everything with technology, within sports?
Yeah. I mean, I see it as it's gonna be like the future. A lot of people are gonna want to invest in this. It's gonna be probably the next big thing that blows up when you think about it, because that's how technology's been working. Like when I heard like Web3 and NFTs were all coming out in like 2020 or whatever, I kind of want to buy one, because I mean, what if it blows up? And it kind of did. It got a good audience and all that. So I feel like it's gonna change a lot of things that go on around, like, just athletes and sports in general.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I mean it's growing, and this whole sector with sports tech is growing. And when you can see the power of blockchain technology and how it applies, where, like, if you had fans and wanted more proximity to you and wanted to be able, do more events and things with you, or even just hopping on a FaceTime, and the power of blockchain technology with smart contracts and the power of all that in one realm,
Yeah,
it's like there's nothing that's been like that before. We can't on
literally.
social media. There's somewhat of that, but it's like you can't have that authentic engagement as you could within blockchain technology. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be just so huge for everyone's fans and that whole fan economy to see that, like, there's real value and benefits to
Mhm.
understanding and diving into it, because it's something that's just going to keep building out.
Yeah, I mean, like having like a strong fan base, like that's really important, because the more followers and more likes you get, like that's the more brands will be attracted to you, and more attraction, and just stuff like that. It's important. It's really important these days. So it's something you want to get ahead of, not behind.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, Jalen, besides basketball, I know it takes up a lot of your time. What's some of the hobbies or passions that you have, outside of the sport that you like to do, in your free time?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been doing it lately, but I usually make some beats. Like I
That's
make
awesome.
yeah, I make some I've made a couple R&B. I usually make rap beats though. Me and my cousin, we got a little studio at my dad's apartment. It's pretty cool. I mean, because I like music so much. I mean, it's like a big part of me, as who
Yeah.
I am. So making it, I always have fun with it. It's something I have fun doing. So I don't see why not. I feel like it's a good hobby.
That's
You
awesome.
know,
Have you
um,
thought about selling any of your beats and, like, kind of make like a business of it as well?
yeah. I mean, I I've talked to some people about my beats. I'm with this one little label. It's called PNB Records, or PNB Empire Records. Yeah. And I just send them my beats, and they let me know what they think and all that. They might record on them soon, so that would be pretty cool if they do.
That's
But
unreal.
I started making beats like years ago though,
I
because
love
my dad, he's been making music for a while now, so I kind of got it from him.
That's awesome. Well, I'm a huge, fan of rap music. I would love to hear your beats, and tune in
Mhm.
and see what you've been building. I think it's important to have those hobbies and passions, right?
For
Because you want to
sure.
make sure that you can, just enjoy stuff more than just your sport and be able to do different things. And
Yeah, for
I
real.
I think that's just incredible, man. That's awesome.
Mhm. Appreciate it, man.
What's kind of you'll kind of wrap up here in a few minutes, but what's been, what do you think is your vision right now with your career and kind of where you want to take it, especially this year and after, what's kind of like
Mhm.
the big vision that you have for everything that you've been working on so far?
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 more years of eligibility. So I've been thinking I'm just gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna transfer from South Plains and go play somewhere else. And then, I'm gonna just do my thing. I'm gonna just do whatever I can to get back to that D1 level, or overseas, anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even playing overseas is awesome too. You get to have more of that culture of traveling and be able to be,
Hmm.
playing international and stuff. So it's like I think people think of like if you're playing, probably have to be an NBA, but there's so many other options to go in
A
different
lot.
routes. And I think if like now that we see the NIL era, you just want to make the most of it. You want to grow your brand. You want to be able to
Yeah.
enjoy your time and play the sport that you love and build
Hmm.
your relationships and connections like you've been doing. So I think you're on the right track of
Yeah,
really
for sure. I
making
mean,
the most of it, as you're saying.
it's yeah, it's really like, even if you play in like the G League, it's really just about your connections and your brand as yourself, or if you're in the league, you still want to build that brand for yourself. It's just
100%.
Yeah, it's really like a social media game now, almost. So
100%. And it just having the control of your brand identity. How do you want people
yeah.
to perceive you, and like you give back to the community? Do you do different stuff?
Hmm.
Has there been anything with speaking on community? How do you kind of give back to your community, whether it's engaging with the youth or doing different things that
Hmm.
really shows your community service and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really done too much. I mean, I try to give back as much as possible. I mean, you see a homeless person, you try to, give them a couple of bucks, or, some food or anything like that. Um, I had a couple of little dudes back at Colorado State. They were some fans, so I sent them some tickets. I gave them a shirt or two. Just try to do anything. Because I'm not playing. I wasn't playing there. I redshirted, so
Yeah.
I'm like, might as well have somebody else have a great experience. You know what I'm saying?
100%. They look up to you too. Even though you weren't out there,
Yeah.
they see that you're part of the team, and you're a
Hmm.
great player, and then they want to they supported you. So I think it's
Yeah.
awesome to have anyone look up to you in any path that you're paving. And kind of wrapping up here, Jalen, what's
Yeah.
three pieces of advice or lessons that you can think of that you would pass on to the next generation
Hmm.
behind you.
Yeah. I mean, really, number one is just cherish every moment. You never know how long you have, or what's gonna happen, or how quick it's gonna go by. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then you miss it. You're gonna miss it. You know, like right now, I kind of miss high school. But then I think about it got taken away because COVID.
Right.
So that's always number one for me. I think you got to cherish every moment that you have. I mean, another lesson. Let's see. Let me think. Let me hear one from you, G. Let me hear one from you real quick. Let me
Okay,
get some
well, for me,
inspiration going.
the biggest thing, and my purpose is to impact the next generation, and so that's why I love helping student athletes like you. But I would say, a recent lesson that I would say to the youth is, don't give up on your dreams, and really stay grounded in your values. Um,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times with social media and all the noise out there, we get strayed away from like what are our core values and what do we really believe
Yeah.
in? And we hear outside perspectives and opinions of why we should be doing this or go in this industry. Go to where you believe in. Go follow the path that's less taken, and stay grounded in your core values, and just keep your head down and be humble and consistent every day, and that's all
Yeah.
going to pay off. And I think that's something that a lot of times it's hard to do because we're living in a culture and in a whole just society today that it's just there's so much noise. And how do you cancel
Yeah.
that out? And how do you stay focused on your grind and your hustle? And I
Mhm.
think it's that's something that's so important for this next generation as they're growing up with all this technology. How can they stay in their own lane, in their own path that they want to do and choose to do,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
succeed in it. So I think that's something that I would pass down.
That, that's a good one. That's real. I mean, and another one, I would just say, like, if you really want it, like, you just gotta work for it, like, as hard as you can. I mean, if you don't, if you don't put in the time, like the hours and hours you want for it, it's just gonna delay it's just gonna delay everything. It's gonna take longer to get to that goal. But if you really just work at it every day, every night, then it's bound to come to you. you know
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean,
What would
like,
one last lesson you would pass down to me?
for you, I mean, from what I've heard, man, you're a top-notch guy, man. You're like perfect, you know.
No one's perfect.
I just like with you. I mean, for you, man, I would just say, like, I mean, you're doing great. You're doing great things right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're at a good place in life right now. Like, all I would say is, just make sure, like, you remain humble. Like, you know what your goals are. Like, pray every day and every night for what you want, and then it'll all come to and it's patience too. Everything just takes time. It's
Yep.
not going to happen one night unless you're a rapper and you drop a nice single, like NLE Chopper,
Yeah, but even
but
that, it's like they still, there's a lot that goes into the craft, right? People
yeah,
think it's
for real.
always overnight success because now they hear someone that's mainstream, but it's like really there were so many years that they put in of
Hmm.
perfecting that craft, right?
Yeah, a lot of songs that weren't that song, you know what I'm saying?
100%, 100%.
Hmm.
Well, just to recap everything you said, Jalen, just the advice to the youth: cherish every moment. You never know when that's going to go away. And number two, you have to work for it, right, and put in that time. That's always
Yeah,
enough. And then you said number three, just to remain humble. Always pray and know your goals. And I think that awareness too is helpful, so people have direction, right? And so
yeah.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you being on the podcast. This was episode 28. Everyone follow Jalen Scott all over social media. Thank you, my man, for being on the show.
Yes,
You dropped a lot
sir.
of knowledge and gems, so we appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, G. I appreciate it, man. And I'm excited for this Burst Sports, man. I mean, I think it's gonna be a game changer.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're branding it as Burst now. Burst Sports is our LLC. Burst is our brand now. So we're pumped to have you part of the family and some big things coming this year in 2023.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you again, Jalen.
All right, my man.